So
we were keto for a long time, remember?
Yes.
Very long time. For like 4 years. It was a lot.
Yeah, to try to balance
out. So
out.
our plate was very different than everyone else's plate.
Well, yeah, because you're on it's very restrictive and you have to follow it.
But we definitely really want to try and focus this back to children. So when we talk about the My Plate, we're really trying to focus on the health of children and how to have healthy brains and
bones and all that fun stuff that comes with it. So right now, our 4 and 5-year-old, because yours is 5 and mine's 4 now.
About to be 5.
He's soon to be. Oh, he keeps reminding me. Don't.
Mine always thought it was the height on like this giant ruler I had in the hallway.
Oh, and that's how he said, knew?
Look, I'm 3+ now. When do I get to be 4+? And he also always adds plus. Now, here's the backstory to that, real quick. When you go to the store and you look at toys, I would tell him, oh no, it says 12+. You have to be over 12 years old to have that toy. Because sometimes it helps me keep him from getting something that's inappropriate for him to play with, like it's too small or has batteries that are easily accessible.
And tempers.
And it makes it easier, right? Well,
yeah.
He took that to a whole new level, and that's how he talks about everyone. So we had a little 2-year-old over, just visiting, and he goes, oh, remember when the 2+ came?
2+.
Like, he doesn't even remember their names. Like, he just labels them with their age
that
and a plus sign.
That 2+.
But this is a 5+ toy, so he couldn't play with the 2+ couldn't play with this 5+ toy.
No, absolutely not. But this is when, the 2-year-old stage is really when they start developing their taste buds and what they like and don't like.
Yes, very much so.
And so, it always tends to be more snacks and junk food that they tend to like. Mine likes fruit out the wazoo. He likes cherries with the seed in them. He will eat around the seed. That's a new thing we've learned today. Or actually, it was a couple of days ago, but we're gonna go with today. But they that's their kind of what they like, and that's their menu, right? Like they eat off of the same menu all the time,
right?
Kids don't vary.
Proportions.
Kids don't vary. You have to offer them the variances. They like texture is a big one at these ages. Like I said, again, we're talking with smaller children. The 2 to even like 6 and 7-year-olds are still very focused on
texture.
Yes.
Mine is very into crunchy.
Yeah. Everything
crunchy. So if it's goldfish, Cheez-Its, any of that stuff.
Oh, okay. He likes that.
Obsessed with Cheetos, which I don't allow him to have.
Okay. I'm trying to think.
Family members oblige.
I was trying to think if mine has like a big texture thing, and I don't know that he has. And he could be. He really likes cereal and chips for breakfast, which is just weird. Who's eating chips for breakfast?
He does.
But we do have like the little mini bags sitting out, and we have a snack bowl that the kids are allowed to pull food from.
Yes.
With permission. And so if it's in that bowl, they're allowed to ask.
I call it going shopping. Oh. So I have a little shelf that has whatever he's allowed to have during the day. So it's like applesauce packets and stuff like that on there. Mm-hmm. Things that he's allowed to have any time of day. Mm-hmm. But the other things that I keep out of reach would be like the cereals, because he will eat cereal all day long if he's allowed to. Mm-hmm. And chips and things I can't. Those have to be kept in the cupboard.
High. So they can't get to them. Yeah, if we have a variety of, like, apples, bananas, applesauce packets, because he loves those. Even fruit cups with, like, the peaches and stuff in them. Sometimes he will eat those. We found he does not like pudding, which I thought that would be a fun snack to put in his lunch, but he told his teacher, and his teacher told me that he doesn't actually like these, and he asked that you quit putting them in his lunch. Yes, ma'am. We'll do that.
Understood.
Thanks.
Well, I'm going to do the rest of these 12 packs.
Right? That's okay. I love pudding, so I'm fine. I'm golden. But having these, like, snack areas, right, where they can kind of go and browse, you can offer those healthier snack options that you want them to get, right? If yours only likes to eat.
And if it's easier access, they're more likely to get it.
Kids love easy access. They'll eat anything easy access. That's why I gotta keep my fridge locked, because the cheese has become easy access.
Mine steals cheese all day. And I have a refrigerator where the bottom half is the fridge. It's not like a side door action. It's a top and bottom.
Oh my gosh.
Like the traditional fridges. And so the bottom half is the fridge. And the problem with that is there is nothing high enough to keep out of his reach in the fridge.
Yeah, so everything's a free-for-all.
And I mean, they make locks for fridges. I just don't feel like I want to have to deal with a lock every time I want to go to the fridge.
Yeah, we do. We have a lock on the fridge, and it's a simple lock. And it just requires you push 2 buttons at the same time to pop it open. But his hand's not big enough to push the 2 buttons to pop it open. And so, but if we don't do that, he will literally eat cheese when he wakes up before us. Or we step out of the house for a second, and he's like, oh, Mom and Dad went to check eggs. It's time for me to steal some cheese.
Yeah.
So we had to implement other things because we have a bowl of food sitting out, you know? We've also introduced banana chips through the snack bowl.
Oh, I love banana
apple chips.
That's one of my favorite snacks.
My husband bought I'm going to mispronounce it because I don't like them and I don't eat them personally. Is it edamame?
Oh, yeah.
Edamame.
Especially for kids that like more of like a crunch.
They make them as chips now. They take them and they turn up their peas.
They puff them.
And they puff them.
Yeah.
And he puts those in little snack bags. And do you know what the kids eat those? They don't know what it is. I'm not telling them. I'm not telling them. They love it. But that's how we introduce foods that we think that they would not like. And you can't leave it in the bag. You got to take it out and put it in something else so they don't know what they're eating.
And their tastes are going to change. They're going to eat a ton of applesauce one week, and then the next week they're not going to eat that at all.
Mine's told us he doesn't eat peanut butter and jelly anymore, and so we should stop.
Noted. Quite opinionated.
He's become very opinionated, which has become a problem. And I do feel sorry for his teacher, but that's her problem to work through. I warned her. I was nice. You can do different sauces. Like we were talking about, like barbecue sauces. You know, ketchup is obviously a big one for kids. Kids love ketchup for whatever
there's
reason.
So much sugar in it.
It's so gross. I hate ketchup personally, but
and there's ranch.
People like it.
And
I love ranch.
One thing that I tried that went relatively well is like hummus and refried beans because it's relatively, mushed
like a
sauce,
like a
not
soup?
Quite sauce, but like
okay.
But it's a different texture.
But it's a
that's
sauce.
Still smooth.
A dip. So mine
so they
likes
use
dips.
it as dipping.
Yeah. So mine likes dips. I haven't tried hummus yet.
So if you haven't tried those, that actually sometimes works just as well as like ketchup or ranch, and a lot of times it's a lot healthier and they get some protein. I have a lot of issues getting protein down my little one's mouth.
Yeah, because he's pretty picky at times.
Like he will not eat chicken. He will not.
Which is
and
surprising.
Most kids eat chicken. He will not touch chicken. He will eat pepperonis. But that's like the only protein I can get him snuck in. Right now I've been making grilled cheeses with shaved turkey. And I put one layer of turkey. I am dancing on a fine line though. If
he
it
figures
doubles,
it out.
If it doubles, it ain't getting in his mouth. Ooh. But one thin slice.
That's clever. Kudos.
And it has to be, oven roasted with no flavors.
Okay. Just because it has to be basic so that he doesn't go
notice it too much
flavor. So he thinks his grilled cheese just have
it's just
turkey
cheese.
flavor in it.
It's just cheese.
I mean, whatever works.
Hopefully y'all don't have the issues I have.
I've seen recipes where people puree down like broccoli and
Yeah.
cauliflower and stuff, and it's not to make a cauliflower crust out of pizza, but they're mixing it in other foods when they're cooking it. I'm not
Great
opposed
for
to that.
casseroles, mixing with rice if your child likes rice.
Yeah, mine loves rice. Rice and beans. Psh, he could live off of rice and beans. He's like frijoles con arroz.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Another thing you can try is like putting items in front of the child like while you're cooking. We do that a lot. Mine likes to taste things while I cook, which is dangerous at times.
Depending on the timing.
Because like he wanted to lick the raw chicken. And we were like, absolutely not.
No.
And he's like, he picks up the onion. He goes, well, can I lick the onion? And I'm like, Yeah, you can lick the onion. Don't lick the chicken.
Please,
because
no.
he wants to taste it. He's very big on tasting things. And none of my other children were like this. And so this is a new territory for me where he's like, hey, I'm cooking. And he's like, can I taste that? And I'm like, I guess. And if I'm not careful, he'll like eat it.
Yes.
The raw onion, which is fine. I mean, he can eat raw onion. It's not going to hurt him.
I've seen several videos of a young child that's similar, a little more aggressive with it.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like baking something, and the child would grab a stick of butter and just shove it in their mouth and start eating it. Or grab the pile of flour and shove that in their mouth and start eating it. And I was like, this is a lot for me. Like, I was so stressed.
I was very aggressive, yeah.
I was so stressed.
He does try the flour, but he has to stick his one finger in the flour. Like, it's a thing. Like, there's lots of rules and restrictions with this. But, having them in the kitchen with you while you're cooking can introduce them to things. I know we've talked about that a bit before, but it really does, because they're curious. What are you doing? And my kids, even to get my 14-year-old back when she was younger to eat stuff, I made her cook it. I'm like, no, you're going to help me cook the chicken pot pie, or you're going to help me cook the beef stroganoff because it had mushrooms and onions and stuff in it. And she was like, ugh, I don't eat those things. So I'm like, too bad, so sad. Help me cook it. You don't have to eat it. You do not have to eat it. Help me cook it.
And talking about other family members that they really, really like, or their friends that they really, really like. Oh, you know what? So-and-so really likes this particular carrot.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's crazy.
Sometimes that helps.
What kids will be like, oh, really?
Or it'll stick to them.
Oh, really?
Another thing that really sometimes will help is you put things in front of them when they're not cooking with you while you're cooking. So if you're like, oh, it's quiet time right now, and you can draw until dinner's ready, I'm going to put this plate of steamed broccoli in front of you, and if you want to eat it, great. Dinner will be ready soon. And then you walk away. It's not that you're forcing them or anything like that. But sometimes that's a really gentle way to possibly get them to try it.
Yeah, it's a snack option, right? Like, you're giving them the option of trying it. They don't have to, but if they're really hungry like they say they are, chances are they're going to pick it up and try it.
At least try it.
At least try it. They might not like it. Like, I've seen that. My son did that the other day. He picked up a sparkling water, and we were like, ooh, by the way, that's sparkling water. It's not regular water.
Oh, mine calls anything carbonated spicy.
We were going to tell him it was spicy, and then we were like, nah, we'll just let him figure it out. And so he took a sip, and he went, ugh, and he spit it back out. Not back in the bottle, thank God, but he spit it all over the ground. And I was like, okay. So we don't like carbonated water. Good to know.
We learned something today.
Yeah. So, but it's the giving them the option all the time. And don't lie. I'm saying don't lie to your kids, but then I'm saying totally hide the food in the food. It's fine. I don't know. I don't outright lie to them, right? If they ask me, I'm very honest with them. Like, my daughter's like, is there onions in this? And I'm like, yes, there's onions in it. I always put onion. You saw me chop up the onion. Where do you think the onion went from when I chopped it up? Like, obviously it went in the food and not in the trash.
Catch you in a lie.
Yes, I don't outright lie to them. But preventing snacking, like heavy snacking before meals, can help with them wanting to try more because they're hungry. Kids don't generally starve themselves as a rule. Some kids will, but that's different because that's different disorders and stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking about your basic
regular
average child.
Day.
Yeah. They're not going to starve themselves. And so curiosity can win out when they're hungry. And no one is above a negotiation. Like, I mean, I don't negotiate with terrorists personally, but
while you're sitting there at the table.
But while you're sitting at the table, right, we can negotiate.
You want 15 minutes of game time this evening? Mm-hmm. You really like that new game. You want an extra 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Better try that pasta I made, or that pork chop I cooked, or whatever it is on your plate. We do a you have to take 3 bites rule. Again, I like the number 3 rule. I don't know if 3 is like my favorite number or something.
Probably.
I do the 3 sips. We do 3 tries. But you have to take 3 bites of something before you can tell me that you hate it. Because the first bite, you expect to hate it. The second bite, you're not sure that you actually hated it. And by the third bite, you should know if you
whether or not you
absolutely
like it.
hated it. And I'm not talking